Welcome to the Three Gun Show. I'm your host, Dave Hartman, and this is episode 324. We're going to talk about how to prepare for your first club match. Everybody, springtime, it's time to get out there and shoot. If you haven't shot a club match before, we're going to get you there. This is to get you over that hump. Show notes at threegunshow.com/324. If you missed something, I'll put it all in writing for you. I got your back. It's great to have you here this week. I am pumped about this topic. I shot a club match this weekend. It's a club match that I shot for years back in the day when I lived in Colorado, and just finally got back to it. And I'm pumped. I'm all about it. I'm so excited. I'm happy the season's here. It was a sunny day. I had so much fun. I shot with a bunch of friends, shot with a bunch of new people that I had never shot with before. And it made me think of a lot of things that, we kind of take for granted as more experienced three gunners. And a lot of times on this podcast, maybe the context I talk about is more experience. And so I'm taking her back a little bit here for the newer three gunner. And this is also going to address a lot of questions I get in my DMs on Instagram and in my email box. So hopefully a lot of you can find value in it. And if this is something that is like second hat to you, or second nature, old hat and second nature to you, share it with a friend. If you got like a buddy at work who kind of shows some interest in something and they don't know how they're quite going to get there. I spent a lot of time putting this together. So share this with a friend. Let them know that, hey, you can come out, you can come shoot with us. It'll be fine. It'll be fun. And we want you there. Okay. So, but before we cover our how to prepare for your first club match topic here, I do have a topic I want to talk about real quick. And that is the Vortex Optics Big Bend Blast and Dash 5K run and gun obstacle race. It's a match that my buddy Mike and I came up with back in 2018, and it's a biennial match. And I've gotten a lot of questions on it since we announced it, and so I thought I'd just address those questions here. So this is our third year running the match. We did 2018, 2020, and 2022. Turns out that's how biennial works. So to answer questions here, we do have spots left, but you're going to want to hurry. Over half the match is sold out as of right now, so get on it if you want to do it. It's going to be a good time. We are taking sponsors. You can email me, dave@threegunshow.com, or on Practice Score. Mike's information is there as well. Either one of us can help you out with that. And you can, we get this one a lot too. You can walk it. Yes, you can walk it. You don't have to run it. Just sign up for one of the later heats when we squad you into heats. Faster people first, slower people last. Makes sense, right? And also just let faster athletes pass you. It's no big deal. Just don't want to impede the people that are out there trying for the win. But that said, you're not going to run all 5K at once. Let me explain. This is a 5K run and gun obstacle race, and there's 8 stages thrown in there, and 8 like typical 3-gun type stages. So you will have to manage course of fire. And because of the nature of the race, they're blind. You don't know what they're going to look like when they get there, but they're not nearly as complicated as some things. So don't worry about that. And the nature of the match is that it's all spread out all over the range. So you're going to run, you're going to do an obstacle, you're going to run, you're going to shoot a stage, you're going to run, you're going to do another obstacle, you're going to run, you shoot another stage, you're going to run, you're going to accomplish another obstacle, overcome, complete, whatever we want to call it. And you're going to repeat that until all 8 stages are done, and all 16 obstacles are done. And all 5K is done. So typically in the past, I don't know what the course is going to look like this year, because Mike's putting that together. But typically in the past, we've had like the maximum of a quarter mile of running. So you can do that. If I can do that, you can do that. And then you just repeat. And you're welcome to break down into a walk, gather your breath, run some more. There is water on the stages and stuff like that. But the format is it's a 2-gun match, and you need to bring all your weapons and ammo, rifle, pistol, for the entire match with you. So you got to carry all that stuff. Okay. It gets easier as you go on, obviously, because you're losing lead along the way. And there are separate categories here for different people, and they're based on ages. So we have a 5K 14 to 34, 5K 35 to 49, a 5K 50 plus. Now there is a PCC division, a 5K PCC division, which good luck with the long range targets, but that is everybody's got to shoot the same targets, but you're in your own division. And then there is a 5K armor division, which is, I believe there's a weight restriction on the plate carrier. I don't know off the top of my head, but I do have that information available somewhere else. And so you have to carry a plate carrier for the entire match. And that is something that you're not allowed to take off to negotiate any obstacles. Negotiate, that's the word I was looking for earlier. But you can set your rifle down. You can set your backpack down if you're carrying one, your ammunition, stuff like that, in all the other divisions. But in armored, you do have to maintain your plate carrier the entire match. 5K ladies is the last division there. And that is a 2-gun match or 2-gun division as well. Price is $100. Most of this information is available on Practice Score. Just look for, look for the blast and dash is basically how you would search for that on the Practice Scores. Okay, I mentioned obstacles. So 16 obstacles. What are those obstacles? So wall climb, and there are 3 4-foot walls. There's a 6-foot wall, and Mike's building an 8-foot wall this year because he's glutton for punishment. And there's monkey bars, farmer carry, sled drag, wheelbarrow movement, wheeling, Atlas stone carry, beer keg carry. I don't know what kind of beer. Tire flip, sandbags, and apparently these are Olympic sandbags. And then we might do a sandbag toss as well. I know that's not 16, but there's probably going to be more that we're not telling you about. Distance. What's the max distance we're going to shoot? So in the 2 matches past, we've had stages where you shot out to a stage where you shot out to 600 yards. There's been improvements at the Ben Lomond Gun Club, and we will have 2 stages that are out to, or let me rephrase that. We have a stage out to 400, a stage out to 500, and a stage out to 600. So there'll be 3 long range stages. Totally exciting. Going to be a good time. So PCC people, know your holds. Okay. It is Saturday, July 9th. Staff will set up and shoot on Friday, July 8th. We are taking volunteers. And you can email Mike about that in the Practice Score link, or you can email me and I'll forward your email to Mike. The last thing I want to mention is sign up on Practice Score, link in the show notes, 3gunshow.com/324. This has been a ton of fun in the past. Like the range that we hold this at, they're super friendly to this, and they shut down the entire range for us to do this match, which has to be done so we don't run over runners with our pickup trucks and stuff like that. And they make a big deal out of it. They're super happy to have us there. We have a great time. We make a lot of great memories, and we help one another. Like if you're running in the afternoon, you can help a stage or help an obstacle in the morning, and vice versa, stuff like that. So it's a great time. It's a lot of fun. Last year that we did this, 2020, there was some special forces dudes that came out and did it for training, which is really cool. And then there's guys like me that are doing it. There's old guys, old gals, young gals. Everybody can do this match. So if you're curious about it, if you think you want to do it, highly encourage you to sign up. It's going to be a good time. And everybody has completed it in the entire time we've done it. So there we go. That is the Vortex Optics Big Ben Blast and Dash 5K run and gun obstacle race. Longest name in practical shooting. Don't let me name stuff, people. On to our main topic, how to prepare for your first club match. So I took a lot of time putting this together, and I broke it down into 3 main topics, and I used my friend Wade's plan, prepare, perform sort of framework for this. So planning. All right. First thing you're going to do is you're going to find a match. That's pretty obvious, right? So you want to shoot a 3-gun match. How do I find one? So Practice Score that I mentioned earlier in the pre-show here is where you're going to find most of the information that you need for a match. It's where you're going to be spending a lot of time if you get into shooting sports. It's practicescore.com, and it's practical in scoring. So practiscore.com. Nearly all state and national matches are run on Practice Score. Lots of club matches are as well. In fact, I don't think that I've shot a club match that wasn't on Practice Score in like 6 or 7 years. It has everything in there, like NRL 22, IDPA, USPSA, PRS matches, NRL Hunter, Steel Challenge, like any ICOR, anything that you can think of is in Practice Score. And it's a great way to find matches in your area. All you have to do is just go into practisescore.com. At the top there's a couple of categories. There's scores. Well, obviously you'll find the scores from the match. If it's already complete, there's matches, there's events, there's clubs. So click on that matches button, and then that will take you to a map search. It could not be easier. And this uses, I imagine the interface is like Google Maps. So you can type in your city, your state, etc. It should know where you're at based on your IP address, but you can zoom out, zoom in on the map and everything, and you can find matches there. If you live in a city, be prepared to drive an hour or more to go to a match. Now, I used to live in Colorado, and the matches I would go to would be like a minimum of an hour and a half away. When I lived in Texas, I would shoot at TSA, which was like 45 minutes away. Reveille Peak, which I think was like an hour and 15, but I've also shot over in Navasota. I lived in Round Rock, by the way. I also shot over in Navasota, which was like 2.5 hours away. It's always worth it to go shoot a match. So nothing worth doing is easy or nearby. So remember that, and just commit to driving some to go to one of these matches if you don't find one near you. And like I say, they don't put ranges in the middle of cities, right? So if you can't find a match on Practice Score, which generally should be able to, if you can't find a match on Practice Score, start looking at large shooting clubs in your area. Generally the outdoor ones, probably your best bet. See if they have a match. A lot of times they'll have a tab dedicated to shooting sports on their website. So go to the range website, see if they have that info. What you're looking for is a 3-gun or a multi-gun match. See if they have details there or someone to contact. A lot of times it even has a link back to Practice Score for you to sign up. So it's kind of funny how all that works. But what we're looking for here, and we can find this information obviously on the website or on Practice Score, is a rule set that the match is operated under, the day of the month it happens, obviously, and the time it starts, and then how to sign up and pay. And again, if it is on Practice Score, you can sign up and pay generally on Practice Score. If they have credit card capabilities, sometimes they want you to bring cash. It just depends on the range you go to. And if you're lucky, you can find a contact number for the match director, and get all his info or all the other info that you're going to need, or any questions that you may have from Practice Score or from that range's website. Okay, so once you figure out what rule set it's under, you have to find a copy of the rule set. So the Google is your friend on that one. So club matches are generally run under like a national rule set with some modifications for specific range rules. The big national rule sets are USPSA, UML, PCSL, and there might even be some matches that operate under 3-Gun Nation rule set still. So USPSA is United States Practical Shooting Association. UML is United Multi-Gun League. PCSL is Practical Competition Shooting League. They all have websites, and they all have their rules posted on the website there, so you can find them. Again, the match may have like a custom rule set that is an attachment in Practice Score or on their website. You just have to find out from that particular match. When you find the rule set, your first mission is to find the division that you want to shoot and that is appropriate for the guns that you're bringing with you. All right. So that's how divisions work out, basically, is how is based on the guns that you're bringing with you. Typically, varies quite a bit across country. Typically there's a limited division, a tactical optics division, and an open division, or some variation thereof. Limited division generally is identified by like a 9mm pistol, 12 gauge semi-automatic shotgun, and then a rifle that has a 1X optic on it, which is like a red dot or like a Vortex Spitfire prism sight. TAC Ops is about the exact same, except for you can use an LPVO, like a Vortex Viper, Razor, something like that. 1 to 6, 1 to 8, 1 to 10. Those are in tactical optics division. Now in open, it's typically open. That's where you get your box fed shotguns, your big long stick mags with red dots on your pistol. And then your rifle can have multiple optics, bipods, stuff like that. So that's basically it. Those are changing and there are variations depending on rule sets. So check that. That's why that's your first, your first mission is to figure that out. So if you're still in doubt and you're not able to contact the match director and ask based on your equipment, just sign up for open division and then get clarification when you arrive. And then they can always swap the division that you're competing in. And this is your first match. It's not that big of a deal anyway, as far as what division. So select that open division and then they can change it later. No big deal. All right. Now that you've got your division, read that rule set, become familiar with the safety rules, the scoring, etc. And some of that may not make all that much sense right now because you don't have context of being at a match, but that's okay. It'll make sense later and you'll have that basis of knowledge when people start using those terms and talking to you about that at the match. So that's always a good thing, is to read the rule book. Make sure you know the rules of the game that you're about to play. Now, check your schedule, clear the date with your stakeholders. Now, that can be, your stakeholders can be anyone. It can be girlfriend, family, work, etc. Make sure you don't have a conflict that day and sign up. If you have a friend that wants to go as well, that's cool. Get them to sign up too. But if they're waffling, don't let them hold you back from having a fun experience. You sign up and let them figure their own game, out. Enter all your information in a practice score, click that go button, and then you're signed up and ready to go. And that's the end of our plan portion right there. Easy peasy. Moving on to prepare. So now that you've signed up for the match and you're committed to going, it's time to get your gear ready. Okay. For ammo, we're going to start with ammo. For ammo, pistol, gather the proper amount of factory ammunition for the pistol that you own. Don't ever use gun show reloads, people. Come on. Factory ammunition. If you have a choice of like different pistols, go ahead and get that 9mm. 9mm is preferred in nearly all situations. In 3-gun, there's only a couple exceptions. And a proper amount of ammo will be the round count of the match plus an additional 50% for air and to be safe. So if they say that the round count is 100 rounds of pistol, bring 150. Okay. You're going to miss. Trust me. I miss a lot myself. So you do need that extra cushion in there. The round count again should be in the practice score, or you can contact the match director. But again, if you're going to contact the match director, make a list of questions. Don't just email the dude every like 10 minutes when you come up on one. All right. For shotgun, you're going to want 2 3/4 inch shells in 7.5, 8, or maybe even number 9 lead birdshot. 7.5 and 8 will be the most common. So grab some of that. I personally have never used 9 in a match. I know some people do, but 7.5 and 8 are the most common. Grab the proper amount plus an extra 50%. Okay. Do not bring steel shot, as it bounces off the steel targets, can cause injury. Some matches I've been to, it is a DQable thing to use steel birdshot on a shotgun target. So leave the steel at home. Now some matches will have slug targets for shotgun. So might as well get some of those and be prepared. If you can't find that information on the website or on practice score, get the low recoil stuff. Okay. We're talking 1150, 1200 feet per second slugs, 7/8 ounce, 1 ounce, something like that. Even up to 1300. You can bring your 1600 feet per second bear slugs. I've never seen a match ban them, But trust me, not comfortable to shoot, especially if you're going for accuracy here. So get those low recoil slugs, and you will have a much better time. All right, rifle. This is where it gets a little bit complicated. Okay, most matches around the country will likely be shooting 200 yards and under in a one-day club match. This could change this could be due to like range capabilities. They don't have anywhere that goes farther. Like when I first started shooting in Colorado, like all the ranges that we had club matches were under 200 yards. Or could just be like the logistics of moving all the shooters through a long range stage and still completing in a reasonable amount of time. But that is something that you're going to want to put on your list of questions if you are able to email the match director, is just like, what's the farthest target? If you can't talk to the match director and ask that question, I recommend looking at the range on Google Maps to try to get an idea of potential distance at the match. It's a great idea for recon as well, because you're going to want to know, like, oh, there's some improved buildings. It looks like where I park, and these look like the bays, and looks like where I'm going to go, and just get an idea for where you're going to be if you've never been to this range before. Now, in most major matches, and this is the reason I bring this up, folks will be shooting 223 or 5.56, and will have a precision round like a 75 grain Hornady or 77 grain Sierra Match King or something like that, to shoot for targets past 200 and 300 yards. And then they'll switch to a more economical round, like a 55 grain Full Metal Jacket, like M193 or something like that, for paper targets and closer targets. All right. So that is to save money, obviously, because we don't want to be shooting our $1 to $2 per round precision ammo at paper targets that are like 7 yards in front of us. So the one thing to keep in mind is don't bring green tip, steel core, or any steel core ammo. That's generally outlawed at almost every match I've ever been to, save for one. And it really tears up the targets. And they don't like that. Generally have to pay for the target if you punch a hole in it with something like that, or with ammo you're not supposed to be supposed to be using. So keep that in mind. Since this is your first match, you should concentrate on just completing the match safely, learning the ropes along the way, and having fun. So if you're not used to shooting really far targets with precision ammo in unconventional positions, just stick with like 55 grain M193 type stuff, 55 grain ammo, bulk ammo that you can get 223 or 5.56, whatever is appropriate for your gun. And worry about learning to swap ammunition when you have an understanding of how the game is played. It is an important part of the game, but it becomes more important in major matches where it's multiple day and multiple long range stages and stuff. But again, that can change depending on where you're at, because I have shot club matches, several of them in Texas, that did shoot out to 400 and 500 yards on a regular basis. You just have to know the match that you're going to. But it's more important to properly know the ammo that you have is going to hit where you shoot it than it is to be switching around with stuff that you don't know about. Okay. All right. Moving on from ammunition, ancillary gear. Bring as many pistol magazines as you can, but 3 minimum. The same with rifle. Now, you don't need to bring like 20 rifle mags if you're, someone like me who stacks them, but bring 5 or so, 5, 6, whatever. It sucks not being able to finish a stage because it requires like 35 rounds of pistol, and the 2 magazines that came with your Glock 19 you're shooting hold a total of 30. That's not good, right? So you want at least 3 more if you can. You want a sturdy belt, a sturdy holster that's not nylon, and you want magazine pouches. If you don't have magazine pouches, you can use your pocket the first time around. We've all done it. I've done it. The trick here is like, don't buy gear before your first match. Go with what you have and then learn, and then buy the appropriate gear later. Okay. Next, I feel like this is an easy one, but bring eye protection and ear protection, and make sure that it's appropriate for shooting. So that's eye protection that fully wraps around your eyes, not like reading spectacles or something like that. You want to protect yourself from flying jackets of rounds or dirt kicked up by bullets or birdshot coming from a different berm or something like that. You only have 2 eyes. Take care of them. And then clothing. Okay, so clothing, the hotly debated topic all the time. Just wear something comfortable for the weather. You don't need to show up in camo. Just wear something that's comfortable. It's weather appropriate, easy to move in. If you have if it's hot outside, you can wear shorts. Just make sure they have belt loops so you can fit your sturdy belt and your holster in there. If there is going to be inclement weather in the forecast, obviously, be appropriate for that. Like if you ever been on a hike, then you need to look at the weather forecast. If you've ever played sports outside, you know what type of sporting gear to wear. The only difference is that we need belt loops to hold up or to hold our belt gear and our holster and stuff like that. As far as footwear goes, a lot of people wear cleats. A lot of people wear trail running shoes, etc. I personally wear trail running shoes. If it's muddy out, you can wear boots. If you're going to be running through a lot of natural terrain, maybe hiking boots, something like that. The trick here is I'm not giving you like the most optimum stuff to bring. I'm giving you like what you should do your first time out, and then you can iterate and improve from there. Okay. Now you do need to bring a set of gloves. Now these can be like your yard work gloves or like some leather shop gloves or something. What you will do is wear those gloves when you're resetting. You're going to be touching a lot of steel that has been shot by lead, and you don't want to get that lead on your hands and give yourself lead ingestion, lead poisoning, and stuff like that. You want to avoid that as much as possible. Plus, a lot of these targets, when you pick them up and you move them around, they have staples sticking out of them, and some of the steel targets have sharp edges and things like that. So it's just a good idea to wear gloves. Avoid lead, avoid tetanus, all that good stuff. Bring sunscreen and apply it before you start shooting. Don't wait until later in the day when you start feeling hot already. Bring healthy snacks and bring lots of water. Hydrate after every single stage. Also, bring a way to wash your hands, and that can be de-lead wipes, which are basically industrial wipes to get lead off your hands, baby wipes, etc. It can be just some extra spare water and a towel. Basically, we're trying to make sure that we just wash our hands before we put anything in our mouth or anything like that, or go to the bathroom. You just want to avoid lead ingestion. We did an episode on that, and I'll have a link in the show notes on that one if you're curious. But it's bad stuff, and so we want to try to avoid that, especially early on in your career, because you will make, or your shooting career, because you will make these habits, and you want to make good habits. All right, now we're going to talk about guns, the fun part. So generally what we're looking at for a pistol is a 9mm pistol. We're looking at a 12-gauge shotgun and a semi-automatic rifle in .223 or .556, or a bit larger if you're an AK guy. But don't go buy any new guns or gear other than ammo before a match, okay? What you think is right for the game may not actually be right for the game, including a lot of products that are sold with 3-gun in the title. New guns and gear are always fun. I usually never stop anyone from buying new guns and gear, but trust me, I've been there. I've bought the wrong stuff and then had to buy it again, and it's not a good way to start a hobby. Wait until you shoot a first match and you talk to some people. You have experience. You get to use their experience, and you get to try out some of their guns. Maybe, I don't know. Don't buy anything new before you go to a match other than ammunition. Bring the stuff that you have and then iterate from there, okay? I'm not kidding when I say that 3-gunners will lend you everything. I just lent my shotgun to a couple guys this last weekend so they could shoot a stage because they had a pump gun that fit 5 rounds. And it's much easier to shoot a semi-automatic. If you see something cool at a match or you don't have a piece of gear, just ask someone on your squad, and they're very likely to help you out. Most people would love to show you out to show you their cool stuff, right? It's just how we are as people, especially if you see an athlete in a sponsored jersey. Part of their gig is to show off and demo gear. So ask that guy, and he's very likely going to let you use his stuff, or at very least try it out, hold it, see what's good and what's bad and things like that, and get some advice. Remember what I said earlier about bringing a lot of water? A bottle of cold water from a cooler on a hot day is a nice thank you to someone who lent you some gear. Okay, now what you do need to do is visit a range before the match and make sure your rifle has a good 0 on it for the ammo that you're using in the match. Remember, not all ammo has the same point of impact out of your gun, so 0 with the ammo that you'll be using. This includes like if you get M193 from one manufacturer and M193 from another one, it's not going to have the same point of impact. It's not manufactured in the same plant side by side. It's going to be different. I didn't know that for a long time, but trust me, it can really ruin your day. Remember to 0 it, okay, and do it with the ammunition that you're going to use in the match. Same goes for your pistol and your shotgun, but the targets will be much closer than with the rifle, so you have a bit more of a margin of error. Now, slugs are the exception on that one because slugs are a whole other deal. So know where you're hitting with your slugs, but don't get too wrapped around the axle on that. Make sure you've at least run a few slugs to test it. If time is an issue, pay the most attention to your rifle. I've seen and I've experienced more frustration from new competitors not being able to hit a target with their rifle than I have seen from anything else in this game stopping up someone in their first match. The rifle is key. Get a good 0 on it before you go. Now, the night before the match, here's where you commit. Make sure that you have fuel in your truck. Make sure you know where you're going. Again, before you leave, the night before. Load your pistol mags, load your rifle mags, fill up the cooler, bag all your guns, unloaded. Don't bring loaded guns to a match. If you park in a garage, you can load up your truck, set out your clothes, put your shoes right next to them. Be completely prepared to go to the match so that you don't chicken out at the last minute in the morning. It can be intimidating the first time you go to a match or really doing anything like any hobby or sport, especially if you're going alone. It's March, like how many people chickened out on going to the gym in January? I know not you listening. You're a doer, but you're going to have fun and all the rest of us want you to be there. So don't chicken out. Make sure you go. Okay. All right. Now moving on to the perform section. As a new competitor, your job when you get to the range is to be safe, is to help with reset, make friends, and shoot the match. If you accomplish all those, you will have a ton of fun. You will have a great time. You'll have a new hobby, a new sport, and a bunch of like-minded people to hang out with. Wake up in the morning, have your coffee, have a light breakfast, hit the road, show up early. Club matches are generally run by volunteers. So if you show up and the match is still being set up, offer to help, carry stuff, place things. If you don't know where things go, someone's going to tell you. They just need help putting all that stuff on the ground. This is going to help you make acquaintances with the community, and they will want to help you in turn. It's just like basic human nature, right? We want to help the people that help us. So once you're squatted, generally there's some sort of shooter meeting in the morning at most matches. Once that's over and you're squatted, let your squad know that you're new. Generally they'll let you shoot last if you are new, so you can watch how all the other shooters approach the stages and learn from those people. Now, watch people shoot, but be sure to reset between shooters. And that includes like taping holes in targets that people have shot with their pistol and their rifle, picking up steel that has fallen, replacing clay pigeons, etc. As our buddy Adam Reiser says, nobody cares how you shoot. They do care how you reset. and that's pretty much it. So that's going to be your day, and just do that on repeat. Now, I left out a lot of technical things, a lot of stuff that I would tell you if I were talking to you in person and going to the match with you. Things like specialty targets, chokes, how to stage your guns, etc., preload, all kinds of good stuff. But those are match specific, and they're different all around the country. They're different at a lot of different ranges. And you'll learn them by going to your first match. Okay. You'll learn them at the match. You'll learn them by just doing what everyone else does and asking questions and being open to learn. You now have all the tools to get yourself to a match. Okay. The rest you'll be able to pick up by chatting with people on your squad before the shooting starts, letting them know that you're new and that you're open to advice. And that's the key. Be a learner. Be humble, be a learner, be open to advice, even if you do have experience with firearms And this is just, you getting into a new sport. Just be humble to advice that people give you, and you'll be fine. The most important thing, though, is just to get out there, get to a match, be safe, and actually go and shoot your first match. Once you knock that first one out, you'll be hooked. You'll want to learn more. And luckily, we have 300 other episodes where we discuss all the ins and outs of the game here on the 3 Gun Show. So when you do get out there and shoot your first match, let me know how it went. My email is dave@3gunshow.com. As I said at the top of the show, I'd love to hear your story, and hope you do share it with me. 3 Gun is some of the most fun you can possibly have. The people that play this game are absolutely incredible. Some of the best people I've ever met. And so are you. And that's why we want you to come out and play with us. Thanks for listening. I hope this helped you out. I hope this helps you get to your first club match. And I'll see you out there. See you on the range.